Hey Yuri,
Hello everyone.
how's
How
it
are
going?
you?
Where are you joining us from today?
Oh, I'm joining from Stockholm in beautiful Sweden.
It's a little late. No,
It's kind of late, not too late, but yes, it's evening my time. But yeah, I'm happy to be here.
we appreciate you giving us your Friday.
No worries, no worries. It's pleasure.
Thanks. Hey, Yuri. So, we're getting into CMCD. I don't know if a lot of our audience will know what that is, but I'm glad you're here to tell us. But first, let's start with CloudFront. What is CloudFront as a service, and how might our audience have used it?
Yeah, indeed. CloudFront is Amazon content delivery network. It's basically designed to help deliver, customers' content with a great quality, low latency. It helps with so many things. Can talk about that maybe for the long time, but basically it's not about only quality of experience, but also about security, operational excellence, and some other things. So I basically personally use CloudFront for everything in my personal accounts, and I'm happy to help customers to also get best out of the service.
Very cool. And so today we're talking specifically within CloudFront. We're talking about streaming. How do folks stream through CloudFront? Oh, did I go? It
How's your connection doing? Can you hear us? Oh no.
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can hear you, but
Yeah.
Todd has a question for you.
Yeah, a great reminder that this show is live and these things happen when we're live. It's all good. Yuri, I was asking, we're talking today about streaming using CloudFront. How do folks use streaming on CloudFront? I've used it as a website front, like to distribute website content. How do folks use CloudFront for streaming?
Yeah, I mean, indeed, CloudFront is used a lot for streaming by streaming services, and basically it helps to deliver video files, video segments to the end users from origins such as Amazon S3 or Elemental Media Services with great quality, low latency across Amazon backbone and internet right to the users. So this way we just reduce the latency and helping people to achieve smooth playback. Yes, it's used a lot and pretty much same way as static files of website and any other type of content.
Very cool. And then CMCD. What I don't even know if I know the acronym. What is CMCD? Help us out. What does it stand for, and what is it used for?
Yeah, certainly. CMCD is a relatively new thing. It's an open specification that defines how media clients, such as video players, can communicate playback information to content delivery networks. And the information that is typically it's not available on the server side on content delivery networks. So that makes it very valuable. And it helps actually to build a fully observable video streaming service. So if you look at how it works without CMCD, when we deal with two independent architectural components where we have a client video player and also we have a server side, we have a content delivery network such as Amazon CloudFront, and we have an origin solution, something behind CloudFront. It can be S3, it can be load balancer, it can be a video software running in EC2. Of course, there is a storage to host static, to keep our static files, and there is always that database, right? And in order to build, to understand what happened to a particular request, we need to, collect logs from everywhere, logs, metrics, and then we need to find a way how to correlate them together, and which is actually quite difficult task and can be costly task as well. But with CMCD, when we make player to communicate a player-specific information to content delivery network, first, of course, we make content delivery network aware about this information so it can do something about it. But also, since it's the information coming with the request, content delivery network will generate the logs and will, basically log that information together with the service-side metrics. So essentially, we will have all the information from the client and from the server encapsulated within the single log line, making it super straightforward, to use, and basically allowed us to build a fully observable video streaming system without missing anything.
So I guess one question, actually two questions. One is when we talk about CMCD, Is there like another option that that customers were using previously to this, or what was the baseline that this new feature release changes things for?
Yeah, it's very new. It's very new, development in the industry, relatively new. I think it's maybe more than 1 year. So it's still like, it's getting adopted in the industry. Before CMCD, we didn't have anything similar. So basically, clients needs to collect, all the logs from all the architectural components and trying to merge them together, trying to see how they correlated in order just to understand what happened to a single video session, right? I mean, in order to understand fully how it worked, was it good? Was it, how was it actually? We need to collect all the metrics and find a way how we merge them, how we find all the data that belongs to that particular video session. That was quite difficult work, job. I can't say it was totally impossible, but it was difficult. Now with CMCD, we can do that faster and with less effort, actually allowing us saving some time that we can, dedicate to something else, essentially.
Cool. So we had, so what I understood from this, it was a very manual process before, and now we sort of streamlined some of that process using a standard format. And then I understand maybe you have a demo that can help us maybe see this in action.
Yeah, indeed. I'm ready to show the demo. Just before we start looking at the demo, let me explain actually how the demo works and how the demo system works. Especially, leveraging CMCD involves utilizing CloudFront real-time logs, because this is where we actually now have CMCD information. When CloudFront receives a request containing CMCD data, it will extract the data automatically, so we don't need to parse it, extract it, and basically CloudFront saves us from all this work. It extracts this data and will create distinct log fields in CloudFront real-time logs, making it easy for us to use it and consume. And the way CloudFront real-time logs feature works, when you choose to enable it, it's an optional feature, but if you choose to enable it, for example, if you would like to see CMCD data in it, CloudFront will deliver your real-time logs to Kinesis data stream. And from Kinesis data stream, you can choose to ship it further to your existing analytics system. If you have already a log processing system in place, you can just, choose to send CloudFront real-time logs into it as well. Or maybe the way how I do it in the demo, I'm using Lambda function, and I just attach my Lambda function to the output of Kinesis data stream, where I have all the my real-time CloudFront real-time logs. And for one function, I inserted into Amazon time stream, which is a Amazon time series database, highly scalable, low latency database designed for time series. And if you think about it, logs, it's basically time series, right? We have a timestamp, we have a bunch of metrics, we have dimensions, so that fits the purpose. And for the logs analysis and visualization, I'm using Amazon Grafana, where I can build dashboards using CloudFront real-time logs enriched with CMCD. So I'm about to show you what I built, a couple of charts.
So before, I feel like
you threw a lot of AWS services at us here. We're gonna break this down a little bit.
So you named, what do we have? I'm just gonna try to name them back.
Kinesis
time series, Amazon Grafana, Lambda, Kinesis data stream, CloudFront. What am I missing there that you mentioned?
Exactly this. Plus, in my demo, I also deployed a couple of automated test clients, so they constantly watch some video asset just to make CloudFront to generate some data. So we have, of course, filled with the data. It's not empty graph. We'll have some data. Yes, but that's correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we move on, in the chat, if you're watching, of those 5 services, Lambda, Kinesis data stream, Amazon time series?
Time stream.
Oh, that's fun. Time stream. What else there? CloudFront and Amazon Grafana. Which of those have you used before? Which ones are you using today? Which ones do you want to use? Put it in the chat. We want to know if there's a favorite of yours. Okay, Yuri, back to you.
Yes, I mean, the solution that I'm going to demo is available on Amazon GitHub, so everybody can just install it and get exactly the same dashboard that we are looking at right now with the data. So it's I'm using Terraform, just by running a couple of Terraform commands, you will get exactly the same dashboard.
Can we get you to zoom in a little bit more?
Absolutely.
For our viewers and my sake.
No, that's just a
good.
Yeah, just a landing page. It's basically Amazon Grafana workspace, how they call it. And here I have two dashboards, which I would like to show today.
Great.
And the one that is called quality of experience, maybe not the best name, but basically that's intended, to show me the quality of experience of my automated clients, because they're only consumers of my video service. That's a test service. And this is basically, some charts. There is a lot of charts and graphs. They're looking nice, hopefully. And I'm not going to go through all of them. You can, install it and see yourself and experiment a little bit. Just maybe a few things to, to demonstrate actually how CMCD's CloudFront logs works. Let's see on those, numerical widgets here at the top. So basically here we have a rebuffering ratio, which is 6% And for those who don't know, that's a very important user experience parameter. What it means is that when video player doesn't have anything in its buffer, meaning that the buffer is empty, it has no content to play. And it means that viewer looking at something like, spinning wheel on their screen. And that's the worst thing that can happen to user experience when, consuming video. And that's totally something that we would like to avoid. But that is being signaled as a buffer starvation parameter in CMCD. So without CMCD on the CDN side and CloudFront logs, we are not aware about that. We are not aware about user experience. But now when player tells me explicitly that that I'm struggling to download the content, my buffer is empty, well, there is a buffer starvation, then I know it, and I can, just see it here and monitor it. Also, there is an interesting thing in Grafana. It's called, here on top, it's called dashboard variables. Again, everything here is taken from CloudFront real-time logs. There is no other data. And I can basically filter out and, zoom in by different dimensions. Basically, I'm using variables as dimensions. I have country. If you look at this, we have, different countries where, automated clients deployed. We have United States, we have Ireland, France, Great Britain, Germany, Deutschland.
Ooh, can we hit Germany since we're on the Germany homepage today?
Yeah, let's filter out by Germany and see actually how my clients in Germany doing.
Yeah,
we have 7 concurrent, plays from Germany, and the rebuffering percentage is 0, meaning that everything is great in Germany. So there's no problem. My service works great. Also, I have, device type and some other, variables. But if we get back, to the global view, like for the all countries, then you can see that I have actually a problem, right? My service is not doing well. Some users are struggling to download my content. This 6% is pretty high number. I would say ideally it should be 0. And the question is, okay, what's actually causing it? Because if you think about typical video streaming architecture, it consists of so many things that I already mentioned. It can be, the problem can be caused by the client. Maybe it's client specific. Maybe it's CloudFront. Maybe there is some server in CloudFront that is not functioning correctly. In theory, that can be the case. Everything fails all the time, as we know.
Yeah.
Maybe it's something behind CloudFront. Maybe it's origin solution, right? Maybe something there, or maybe it's a network that is connecting everything together. So right now I know there is a problem, but I don't know what's causing it. And in order to understand that, I'm going to use, the power of merging server-side and client-side, data together. I have another dashboard, and I can let's jump to that one. I call it troubleshooting because obviously it's designed to aid in troubleshooting.
Oh, cool.
And here I have the same variables, but slightly different charts. So what I'm doing here, I have one chart, but on the same chart, I'm trying to merge together 3 different metrics actually. So first of all, I have the red line here, which is the rebuffering ratio. It's basically the same thing as rebuffering events, but this time I'm calculating the number of video sessions that have 1 or 2 rebuffering events during 5 minutes interval, meaning that the user experience is not good, playback is not smooth. And also I have some other metrics here. So for example, the yellow line, it's a latency as measured by the CloudFront. It's called time to first byte latency, CloudFront time to first byte latency. It's basically the time between CloudFront, when CloudFront receives a request from the player, it needs to process it, and it needs to start to send response back. So this is the time between the request arrives to the CloudFront server and the first byte of response sent by CloudFront to the network, right? So essentially, that's the processing time That is time that takes CloudFront to process the request and start sending the response. And of course, it should be low because CloudFront is designed to help with the latency, not to add more latency. But things can happen, of course, and we need to monitor it. And also, similarly, the green line is the origin time to first byte latency, or first byte latency, same thing, different words. So that origin time to first byte latency, and again, if this value is high, then it means, in this latency is measured by CloudFront again, but this time it's when CloudFront sends a request to the origin, when it doesn't have anything in its cache, it needs to download it from the origin first. So it sends a request to the origin, and when origin responds and first byte of the response arrives to CloudFront, then it's the origin latency, right? I monitor those two.
Question on that. When you're monitoring that, if there's an issue, does CloudFront have, like, what can CloudFront do for you if you're seeing things, have latency issues?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, CloudFront in the normal circumstances, CloudFront should not add any latency. If we look at the actual values here, what's the latency for CloudFront, we can see it's like nanoseconds, right? I mean, it's nothing. It's just blazing fast. That's still on CloudFront side. But, of course, if it's too high, then it means there is a problem on CloudFront side, and we need probably to open the support ticket and let CloudFront support folks to, troubleshoot it and fix.
Okay.
If it's an origin problem, if we see that there is a lot of latency involved in origin response, it can be because of two reasons. First, origin can be overloaded, right? And we need to scale it accordingly so it can process requests in time. Or another reason, it may be located far away. Because, for example, if my origin is located in Seattle and I'm sitting here in Stockholm watching the content from the origin through CloudFront, so my request will hit CloudFront edge locations in Stockholm here. But then from Stockholm to Seattle, that's, quite a distance. Because maybe it takes like 24 hours just to get there from here by plane. So it's a long distance. Packets also needs to travel, or, across the globe, basically, and there's some latency involved in that. And of course, in that case, maybe I would need to think about replicating my origin solution to some other AWS region in Europe. But anyway, my idea here, since I'm merging everything together, so if I see there is a spike in rebuffering events, there is a, spikes in kind of user quality indicators are not good. And if the spikes are correlated, then it may tell me that one causing another, right? So if, for example, latency goes up, then and then rebuffering event goes up, then I know that this is because of latency on CloudFront side.
Yeah.
Side.
Yeah, Yuri, that's a ton of information, and I think my time to first byte latency in my head is pretty high. So let me like try to restate what I think I hear you saying for maybe some of our audience that didn't catch all of it. So CloudFront is a service that caches content on the edge closer around the world, right? And so when you make a request, it goes to CloudFront first to see if it has a cached version of that content. If it doesn't, it goes back to the origin. And what you're saying is that origin could be far away, which could create latency to deliver that content. And we wouldn't otherwise know that unless we had some good metrics in the dashboard to say, hey, maybe there's something going on with this origin source that is then feeding CloudFront. And we can go back and do some things on the origin side. Maybe that's replicate it to another region. Maybe that's horizontally scale, maybe the servers that are supporting that origin. But there are different things we can do from there. But this tool or this CMCD stat is there to help us quickly understand pinpoint where that issue might be and then go address it. Is that a fair kind of summary of the whole thing?
It is absolutely a fair summary, Todd. And the key thing here that the red line, the user experience is taken from CMCD, while the other two, the green and the yellow, it's the server side, right? And we have them in the same log line, and we can easily just, create this graph. Because without CMCD, there will be no red line, and then don't know whether or not the latency is acceptable. Maybe, maybe it's high, but still okay for the user. But now we know that it's not. So that's the key thing of CMCD. We just, have insight from both server side and the client side.
Got it.
We are almost, I think we're over technically, but we're at time. So if people want to learn more, if people want to try this out, where can they go?
Yeah, we'll share the link. There is a blog post that is describing the, everything that we talk about, what is CMCD, why it should be used, and how it can be used, what is CloudFront, real-time logs, and everything. And also, it contains the reference to the GitHub, Amazon GitHub, where I basically deployed that solution, so everybody can just go, load it, and install in their developer accounts, and learn more about CMCD and CloudFront, and also maybe experiment with those graphs. Build your own ones. I mean, we have rich and powerful data sets, so it's, up to your imagination how you would like to visualize and analyze it.
Great. Thank you so much, Yuri. This was a lot of information and super deep, and I think that's awesome. That's what these Friday sessions are for. So thank you so much.
Yeah, Yuri, enjoy the rest of your night in Sweden. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah,
thank you very much. That was a pleasure.